A single drop of flowing water. A river seems a magic thing, a magic, moving, living part of the very earth itself. Laurie Gilpin. The winter air is cold. Snow crunches beneath my feet as I walk down the trail. I come to a frozen creek spanned by a well-constructed bridge that could easily allow me to cross and continue onward. I don't immediately take advantage of this though, as something about the creek fascinates me. In one spot, the sun's rays have melted through the frozen surface and revealed that, in spite of the fact that the surface of water is unmoving, underneath the water continues to flow. It seems that not even the bitter cold of winter can stop the flowing water, and so it will continue, drop by drop, until someday it reaches its destination at the end of the creek. Of all the water in the world, only around 0.3% makes up the fresh water that we encounter in lakes, swamps, and other inland water sources. But there is another subcategory of this small percentage: flowing water. Whether it be a mighty river or a small creek, flowing water has long provided nourishment not only to the body, but to the mind and soul as well. Many have and still do take comfort in the beauty and soothing rhythm of flowing water, providing inspiration to some of humanity's greatest writers and philosophers. I do not know much about gods, but I think that the river is a strong brown god, sullen, untamed, and intractable. T.S. Eliot. Flowing water carries a certain kind of strength and power. Large rivers like the Mississippi or Colorado in the United States can carve out the land over time and reshape it through erosion, a feat that requires careful planning and advanced technology for humans to accomplish. Rivers can have profound currents that render helpless anything caught in their grip. The floods caused by an excess of flowing water can be devastating to any human settlements located nearby and require carefully engineered levees and dams to control, although even this is often ineffective at challenging the power of the river. One need look no further than the Yellow River flood of 1887 to see a strong example of this. This catastrophic event was the result of centuries of rising water levels due to the buildup of silt along the dikes that were meant to hold the water back. Due to the low-lying plains near the area, the flood spread very quickly throughout northern China, covering an estimated 50,000 square miles, swamping both farms and commercial centers alike, and leaving over 2 million homeless. Such destruction is terrible, but also fascinating. What's even more incredible is that, when you think about it, any change or destruction caused by flowing water is merely the combined effort of an uncountable number of single drops working together. Rivers know the value of strength in numbers, and are an army of water in themselves. Rivers aren't the only demonstrators of this power of flowing water, however, as any stream or creek's current is capable of exhibiting this if given enough time. A rough stone can be worn into a smooth river rock, or a bank can be eroded to change the course of the water's flow entirely. Even in smaller regiments, flowing water is a natural symbol of power. If held back, it will push with even greater force until it finds a way. It may take time, but water is patient as well as powerful. Rivers know this. There is no hurry. We shall get there someday. Winnie the Pooh. Flowing water is not only a symbol of power, but of patient contemplation. Water flows from its source, either an underground spring or runoff from precipitation, until it joins with a larger body of water like a lake or the ocean. A single drop of water may take a long time to return to the ocean, but it is a certainty that eventually it will reach its destination. In the Mississippi, for example, it can take over 3 months for water to flow from the river's source in Lake Itasca to the Gulf of Mexico. It's no wonder the song Old Man River talks about the Mississippi just rolling along, for while a strong current can give the illusion that the water is anxious to reach the end, the truth is that these drops have seen everything many times over the course of Earth's history through the water cycle, and have learned to appreciate the journey rather than rush to the destination. Sometimes they even take long pit stops along the edge of the water in the backwater marsh. While certainly not stagnant, the flowing water of a backwater marsh is much calmer than the main channel, making it a perfect place for animals of all kinds to settle and raise their young. For humans, the calm, lazy flow of the water can create a perfect place for meditation and thinking about life, about how time flows on like the water and is just as unstoppable. We are as drops of water in this world, traveling, either going with or deviating from the current, and never leaving anything we touch unaffected. The magic of flowing water is that it not only has great physical presence, but also a mental one that provokes thought and wonder in the human mind. The water's influence goes even beyond this, however, for as it flows, it touches every aspect of our being, including the soul. A river sings a holy song, conveying the mysterious truth that we are a river, and if we are ignorant of this natural law, we are lost. Thomas More. Rivers and streams have long been a source of spiritual inspiration, rivaling mountains in symbolism. Since ancient times, rivers have been considered holy by a plethora of religions. The ancient Egyptians, for example, were so dependent on the Nile River for sustaining their lives that they worshipped the river itself as a god, and created myths that focused on the life the river gave and ensuring that it would flood just the right amount each year to ensure a good harvest. For the Greeks, rivers were often the home of magical creatures like nymphs, and several important rivers ran through the underworld of Hades, the most famous being the river Styx, which created oaths so binding upon those who swore on it that even the gods had to honor them. The flowing of water can also symbolize cleansing and ritual washing in religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, and Christianity, which has its own special river, the Jordan. It was at this river that Joshua and the Israelites miraculously crossed into the Promised Land with the power of the Ark of the Covenant, and later where Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. Centuries later, this river would take on meaning for the African American slaves in their spirituals like Swing Low Sweet Chariot and Deep River, as symbol of freedom and crossing over into heaven. The fact is that, whatever the faith, whatever the age, there is something in the flowing water that speaks to the deepest parts of us as humans, a something that reminds us that we are all drops of water. Although we come from different tributaries, we are all part of one river. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. Heraclitus. The summer air is warm. The grass tickles my bare feet as I walk to the creek. I am at a friend's graduation party and have been invited to take a dip in the creek with some of the other partygoers. I'm a bit unsure of this as I didn't bring any swim trunks and am going to get my clothes wet if I do this. I accept the offer of a lone inner tube and, after a period of uncertainty, I jump in. It feels wonderful. I no longer care that my clothes are wet. I don't care that the creek water is somewhat muddy and unfiltered. I don't care that I'm going to have a long shower to clean off when I get home. I am just so happy to be part of nature right now, a part of the flowing water. There is something about it that is a part of who I am, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I know that this flowing water resonates with me as if I am a single drop to join the others, and I burst out into a round of Old Man River as I let the flowing drops of water embrace me. I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. Langston Hughes.